Hey, future self. Ow. I'm having a really hard time moving, but staying still is really awful. The position I'm supposed to be in to keep my pelvis together is not helping. And everything is really excruciating, and I've taken all the pain meds, and I'm just waiting at this point to see the doctor again. So, yeah. Rough start to the day. Hi, future self. Me and his pooches is hanging out in the January sunshine. I even had to get the umbrella out to really give myself hours of outside time. I wish my computer get brighter, but it doesn't get brighter. So today I have accomplished a feat of engineering, or at least software engineering. Let me show you. So I started the day by making, I was stuck on my back all morning because of the pain. So, while I was stuck on my back, oh, it's real shiny out here. Oh no. Alright, we're gonna have to go inside again. Oh, okay. So I started the day downstairs on my back, and I made this video where I turned my head. All very exciting. Okay, so I started the day with the video. And from there, I went into my Pythons, and I had been working with this deep learning facial recognition stuff to figure out how to do facial detection on a face. One single face. And I will show you my codes. I have too many things open. This not necessary, and this not necessary, and that's not necessary. Okay. So this is my codes. It uses so many things. But basically, it is run in the command line. And I will show you what its little running thing looks like. This is FFmpeg, don't worry about all this. Let's go up to the top. Top. Okay, so when we call it, we make sure that we're in the right directory. We call Python, we call detect faces, and then we give it 2 arguments. And the arguments are this deploy text, which I did not write, and the model, which I also did not write. These are both libraries that I found online that go right here. So basically it's calling this, which is the model for looking at the face, and this. So this is the weights. So basically, like, this is the architecture of the neural network, and it's called a CAFFE model, CAFFE model. And this is the weight. So after it's trained up to be good at looking at faces, that means that the architecture has a bunch of values in it, and those values are stored over here. So that's what you need to do something like this. The DNN is you have to have a model, and you have to have all of the weights that model needs to run optimally. Okay, so now that we have seen it in here, let's go back to our codes. So this section here is basically just what we just looked at. It asks you to make sure that it has weights, and it asks you to make sure that it has a pre-trained model. And this one here, confidence, this is something that you can change around. So I have it at the default of 0.5, but if you want to have lots and lots of faces detected, you can put this down and you'll have weaker detections, or you can put it higher to have stronger detections, but it seems at like 0.5 is the best. So then let's keep going. So here, it basically says like, if you don't have an output folder, make an output folder. And then I'm not going to read every single line, but we have to set a path where we want to find the frames that we're going to use to make the face. We have to make an array of those frames, those files. We have to make sure that that array is filled with strings of file names, which is how this works. This is using OS, which has this walk thing library in it. We have to get the length of that array, and then this is totally unnecessary. This just tells me that all of that stuff has worked and that the array is set up correctly. Okay, so now we load the model, and we get that model from here. And then all of that stuff is done before we even load the first image. So basically the whole rest of this thing is a giant nested for loop, and inside of it, it loads the image that you want right here. It gets the shape of the image, and then it forms a blob around where the DNN, right here, the deep neural network, finds the face. And then it takes, it takes that blob, it runs it through the network, and then it applies the confidence from the network to say whether or not it should apply the shape. And then, and then it uses that confidence to say yes or no, to draw a box basically around where your face is, which is what this section does right here. It makes a box based on that, and then it draws a rectangle based on all of those data points, and then it returns out to the for loop, and it just says save that image and print it into the console so that I know what you're doing. So that's all the code. So I will show you. This is the test image. So this image was the very first one I did. I just copied it out, and before I had like all the iterating over, hundreds of frames of code, I had just tested it on here to make sure that my facial detection was working fine. And eventually I want to have this be different shapes and use the facial detection to add things to the video that track my face but that don't completely block it. But this is just what I'm working with right now. I think actually I'm gonna run this on a longer video that has more of my face in it, and then play with it in video editing to see how having this face mask thing in my videos looks. So, okay, there's the test one. Now we're going, here's the image, the original image that output image was made from. So I input this image, it gets done all that code to it, and this is what you get. Okay, so then we take this video that I showed earlier, and we use FFmpeg to slice it into bajillion million frames. Slicey, slicey, slicey. And then we, once we have these billion jillion frames, we can run the detect faces on it. This is old and not necessary. So we run detect faces on it, and it iterates over every frame. So this could be a completely arbitrary number of frames. So if I want to do a longer video, I can. I can just schloop them out into whatever folder. And then it makes this output folder, and it just does it to every single frame. And it looks real cool because there's boxes everywhere. Okay, so now that we have all of that, I just used FFmpeg again to smoosh it into this video right here, which is exactly the same as the first video, except for that it has the box in it. Okay, and then I used FFmpeg to just loop it back and forth. Oops, there we go. Just to loop it back and forth. Can you play looping in this thing? I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, it loops back and forth. And it is video. So yeah, now that I have all of that code working, I'm going to, maybe tomorrow or something, chop up one of my Amnesia Diaries videos after it's been edited, and then run this on it, and that'll probably take 1,000 years because this video is only 6 seconds, and it took like maybe a minute to do. This computer's not very powerful. And play around with it in editing and see what happens. See like how I can change the shapes and everything. So I did it! My first like real machine learning application. I've done a few other like really messed up janky ones, but this one works and it did it, and it works and it did it. Yeah. Hello, post-work M here. Things I have learned today. Waking up in the morning is awful. That's when my worst pain is. And it takes like several hours until I can sit like a human. Future self, you may recognize this outfits. I just added the little collar bit. But I decided, after I watched several fashion shows today, and one of them had real cute messages on them, that I would use my blue felt. That's a real yellow light. Wow. Blue felt to cut out giant letters to stick on my outfits that say sea level rise. Because I thought it would actually look really cool with this like watery algae thing going on in my outfits. Outfits. Yeah. Okay, I printed out my slogan or whatever in the right size for my felt. Did all of this work in Illustrator, and now I just have to cut out all of my letters. Okay, so I cut out all my letters that I need for my thing, and now I just gotta stick them on myself. There we go, all pinned. Now I get to try it on. You probably can't see anything if I point you this direction. How's that? Having a very good day and realizing that it's very hard for having a very bad day to remember having a very good day. Super tired, wiped out human plus bad memory of self-experience is it can make for that human feeling much more trapped than this human realizing, because it's not like I'm not in pain. Woohoo, this morning was rough. But even my this morning self was feeling very trapped. And maybe that's just a morning self thing. Not that I don't get pain in the evenings, but like definitely in the morning. So I know it's like a small stupid thing to learn, but like expect the mornings to suck. Just expect the mornings to suck, and then for that to change. And sometimes it takes till 2 p.m. for me to feel like a functioning human. And sometimes I never feel like a functioning human, but today it took till 2 p.m. but I get to sit outside, and I made an awesome programs, and then I got to make a brand new outfit, and I had a pooch who's over there that you can't see at all, but there is technically a pooch. Yeah. Good job, self. You're good at lots of things. Just try to remember that when you're freaking out and It feels like your legs are gonna fall off. I love you. Night, future M.